Imagine opening a car, and instead of an empty seat, you find a body wrapped in plastic. That car? It was registered to David, the same singer now at the center of Celeste's disappearance. What investigators uncovered next will leave you speechless. Why would a rising singer compare himself to a criminal alter ego just days before police found a body in his Tesla? This is the disturbing story of David and Celeste, and trust me, it only gets darker from here. They thought it was just rumors, just online drama, until a Tesla was opened at an impound lot. Inside, a chilling discovery connected everything back to David. Was this an accident, or has he been hiding something far more sinister all along? Investigators keep piling up evidence against David in the Celeste case, and the story is getting stranger by the day. The latest twist involves a photo that appeared online showing David in a wig that looked almost identical to the one Celeste had worn. Under the post, one person commented, "She looks 10 years old here." Why did his friends think she was 19? Instead of brushing off the growing accusations, David responded in a way that shocked nearly everyone following the case. Rather than offering a clear denial, he made what many consider to be one of the strangest admissions yet. In a live stream with his fans, David revealed that he had an evil alter ego, a second version of himself he described almost like a fictional character. According to him, this alter ego wasn't just a random creation. It came straight out of a manga-inspired story he once imagined for himself. In that story, David said he played the role of a detective who was always on the hunt for criminals. But the twist was unsettling. The biggest criminal he was chasing was himself. He described it as if two versions of him existed in the same body, one a detective seeking justice, the other an unpredictable villain who appeared at random moments to commit crimes. To explain it more clearly, David compared his other side to the famous film Fight Club, specifically to the character Tyler Durden. In that movie, Durden is the chaotic alter ego of the main character, someone who looks the same on the outside, but acts on impulses the real character won't admit to. David insisted his version was just a creative spin, something he thought of as an edgy idea for a story. "It was just a cool little story," he said with a half-laugh. But fans and critics weren't laughing. At a time when he was under heavy investigation for his possible connection to Celeste's disappearance, David's choice of words struck many as eerie. Why compare yourself to a criminal alter ego? Why bring up stories about being both the detective and the suspect? To the people listening, it felt less like a casual metaphor and more like an unintentional confession. The internet reacted almost immediately. Social media users flooded the comments with disbelief, highlighting the bizarre timing. One reply captured the general mood perfectly. "Of all the examples in the world, why did he pick that one?" Another wrote, "If you were innocent, the last thing you'd want to do is compare yourself to someone whose evil side commits crimes." For some, David's explanation looked like an attempt to play off his behavior as performance art or storytelling. But others saw it as something darker, a glimpse into how he might actually view himself and the crimes he was being accused of. The more people dissected his words, the more troubling the parallels became. Fans pointed out that in his manga-inspired tale, the detective version of David had to solve crimes that were committed by his evil alter ego. On the surface, that sounded like harmless creative writing. But in context, it was hard to ignore the irony. If David really was involved in Celeste's disappearance, then investigators, real detectives, not fictional ones, were now doing exactly what he described, trying to solve crimes tied directly to him. This raised another question. Was David attempting to blur the line between reality and fiction on purpose? Some online commentators believe so. They argued that by framing his actions as part of a story, he could downplay how disturbing they sounded. But others weren't convinced. They saw it as yet another red flag in a case that was already filled with contradictions and suspicious behavior. Journalists covering the story began digging into David's past interviews, searching for other examples where he might have hinted at similar ideas. Sure enough, clips surfaced where David spoke cryptically about two sides of his personality, one public, one private. At the time, fans brushed those comments off as the eccentric ramblings of an artist. But now, under the weight of serious allegations, those statements looked far more unsettling. Even people who once defended him found it hard to explain away his recent remarks. Commentators on Reddit threads and YouTube breakdowns dissected his words frame by frame, noting his nervous laughter and quick attempts to shift the topic. "It didn't sound like someone being creative," one viewer wrote. "It sounded like someone trying to explain why he does bad things without saying it outright." Adding to the discomfort was the fact that David himself seemed oddly proud of the alter ego idea. He described it not with shame, but with a kind of fascination, as if he admired the concept of being both the hunter and the hunted. To his critics, this came across as tone-deaf at best and incriminating at worst. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just as investigators were piecing together evidence linking David to Celeste, he handed them a bizarre metaphor that painted himself as a split character capable of wrongdoing. To many observers, it almost sounded like he was narrating his own case in real time. In the weeks that followed, discussions about his evil alter ego didn't fade. They spread. Podcasts, blogs, and news outlets latched onto the clip, analyzing it as though it were a confession buried in plain sight. Mental health experts were even invited onto panels to discuss the psychology behind alter egos, dissociation, and how some individuals use characters to shield themselves from guilt. Yet, despite the uproar, David never clarified his comments. He didn't walk them back, didn't release a statement, and didn't try to explain further. That silence only deepened suspicions. Fans who once defended him started pulling away, unsure of what to believe. Others outright declared that his words proved what they had suspected all along, that David wasn't as innocent as he wanted people to think. In the end, what was meant to be brushed off as a quirky story became one of the most talked about moments in the entire case. For investigators, it was one more piece of the puzzle. For the public, it was confirmation that something about David's story just didn't add up. Then came something more serious. A Reddit user claimed they found a Tesla key card lying in the gutter outside David's house. Police later confirmed they collected the card, and Tesla owners pointed out the color and model matched the type of car David drove. Not long after, the case took a terrifying turn. Police in Los Angeles were dispatched to an impound lot after employees reported a foul, lingering odor coming from a Tesla that had been sitting there for weeks. At first, no one could be certain what they would find. Sometimes cars emit strange smells if food, chemicals, or even animals are left inside. But this time, the reality was far darker. When officers unlocked the vehicle, they stumbled upon a sight that sent shockwaves through the entire investigation. Hidden inside was a human body, tightly wrapped in layers of plastic. The discovery was not only gruesome, but chilling in its implications. This wasn't a random abandoned car. This Tesla was registered directly to David, the rising singer from Queens who had already been under scrutiny in connection with Celeste's disappearance. Almost immediately, the focus of the investigation shifted. Until then, much of the case was built on speculation, online theories, and suspicious behavior. But now there was physical evidence, undeniable, horrifying evidence, sitting inside a vehicle that bore David's name. Investigators quickly began working under the assumption that Celeste's case was no longer just about a missing person. It had escalated into something much darker, a possible homicide. Authorities quickly expanded their scope. If Celeste's remains were found in David's Tesla, the next logical step was to determine where the crime might have taken place. That led them to the property where David had been living. The house, located in a quiet Los Angeles neighborhood, had already drawn attention from neighbors who described unusual activity, frequent visitors, late-night movements, and an almost constant sense that something was being hidden. Police wasted no time. Within hours of the discovery, they secured a warrant to search the residence from top to bottom. Forensic teams arrived equipped with specialized tools, ready to examine everything from flooring and walls to drains and electronic devices. Even the smallest trace, hair, fibers, DNA, could be the clue that tied Celeste's disappearance directly to that house. But as of now, the results of that search have not been made public. Authorities remain tight-lipped, releasing only the bare minimum of details. That silence has fueled intense speculation across social media. Was there blood in the house? Did the plastic wrapping found in the Tesla match materials inside the home? Were there security cameras capturing who went in and out? Neighbors added to the tension by sharing their observations. One homeowner told reporters that the property had 3 separate garage doors, each of them positioned near security cameras. According to him, anyone entering or leaving would almost certainly have been caught on video. If true, investigators may now have access to hours of surveillance footage showing movements around the time Celeste disappeared. The mystery deepened when people began connecting the timeline of the Tesla's impoundment with David's tour schedule. Records revealed the car had been sitting for more than 30 days before it was finally repossessed and towed. David had even reported the vehicle missing during that period. But questions arose. Why report a Tesla missing when the company can track the vehicle's location through built-in technology? And why was the car left abandoned in the first place? For many, The discovery in the impound lot marked the point where suspicion hardened into belief. Until then, fans and critics alike could argue over David's behavior, his cryptic lyrics, and his strange interviews. But a body found inside his car was evidence that couldn't be explained away as coincidence or rumor. Online, the reactions were swift and fierce. Supporters who had once defended him began to withdraw, unwilling to associate themselves with the unfolding scandal. Others demanded answers, insisting that David's silence made him look even more guilty. Comment sections filled with the same haunting question: if Celeste's body was found in his Tesla, how could he possibly prove his innocence? Meanwhile, law enforcement stressed that the investigation was ongoing and that no formal charges had been announced yet. Still, their actions spoke louder than words. The house search, the forensic testing, and the seizure of electronic devices all suggested they were building a detailed case against him. The discovery also sparked renewed interest in David's past behavior. Old live streams, interviews, and lyrics were re-examined under a new light, with fans pointing out lines that now felt disturbingly prophetic. Songs that once seemed like abstract art were now interpreted as confessions. Every clip and photo was dissected for hidden meaning. In the span of just a few hours, David went from a controversial figure facing uncomfortable rumors to the center of what looked like a full-fledged criminal case. And while the official search results from the house have not yet been released, one thing is clear: the moment that Tesla was opened, the story of Celeste's disappearance crossed a point of no return. What had started as speculation about a missing teenager was now a chilling investigation into death, deceit, and the disturbing possibility that the answers might have been close to David all along. The home itself has raised even more questions. It has 3 garage doors, and according to the owner, every entrance, including the backyard and street side, is covered by security cameras. Federal agents are expected to review the footage closely to determine when Celeste was last seen entering or leaving the property. Adding to the confusion, a leaked video showed Celeste backstage at one of David's concerts on June 27, 2024. In the clip, she appeared alongside David's brother, wearing a pair of Hello Kitty sandals, the same ones her family reported she was last seen in. Meanwhile, David's own behavior only fueled speculation. In an earlier interview, when asked where he saw himself in 5 years, he replied that he wanted to disappear completely, retiring from music after 4 years, moving to an island, and cutting off all social media. Fans pointed out the disturbing timing, for years would be when Celeste turned 18. Even more concerning, people noticed David wearing new bracelets during a recent show. They looked identical to one Celeste was seen wearing in a family photo. This detail pushed California police to publicly confirm they were now actively trying to locate David for questioning and possible arrest. But instead of addressing the investigation, David seemed to retreat into video games. Fans tracked his activity and found he had been playing Fortnite just hours earlier. As police scrambled to gather evidence, he appeared unfazed, hiding behind a screen name online. Finally, another old clip resurfaced, this one from a live stream on January 11, 2024. In it, David introduced Celeste to his audience by name, then quickly told moderators to delete all videos and clips as soon as the stream ended. Investigators later uncovered proof that their relationship began long before that night, making the situation look even worse for him. Private Discord messages have now pulled David even deeper into the spotlight. In his own fan server, David once typed, "Is Celeste in here?" She replied with a simple, "Hi, David." According to reports, these conversations show David was already involved with Celeste when she was just 12 years old and he was 17. Her last Discord message was sent 3 months before she went missing in 2024. Fans who had been watching his server closely say they noticed something was off long before the news broke. "He only adds certain girls," one user said. Another added, "David only talks to women from the server, and they're usually 15 or 16. One former collaborator, who used to make music with David, has now spoken out. In a video, he explained that as far back as 2023, multiple underage girls had claimed David messaged or got involved with them. He admitted he tried to raise the alarm back then, but David's legal team quickly stepped in, having his song with David pulled from streaming platforms and sending him emails demanding he take everything down. The musician even recalled asking David directly if the allegations were true. David brushed it off, calling it clout chasing and insisting there was no proof. After that, the story went quiet until now. Things escalated again when a Twitch clip surfaced showing David on stream with a girl believed to be Celeste. In the video, She wore the same Gap sweater pictured on her missing persons poster, along with the same glasses her family said she wore while FaceTiming David. More Discord messages soon leaked, making the situation even more disturbing. In one, David allegedly wrote, "I'll join the group chat with wifey and give you all the story time. Me and deleted user, got a kid on the way." The deleted user was later confirmed to be Celeste. Screenshots showed her posting 2 photos in David's server, one of her hand with a tattoo of David's name, and another of her sitting backstage with him. The leak sparked DJ academics to dig into David's music catalog. Song titles like Crashing, Where'd It Go Wrong, Ghost, Where Did You Go, and Afterlife suddenly carried a darker meaning when viewed in light of the allegations. Then another video dropped, this one showing David cleaning shoes. Fans quickly pointed out that the shoes he was polishing looked identical to the pair Celeste was wearing in one of her last known photos. The revelations hit close to home for Celeste's family. Her brother spoke publicly for the first time, frustrated by rumors that he had known more than he admitted. "Why are people lying saying I knew more? I didn't. I only knew what everyone else knew up until the last time she left," he wrote. Meanwhile, investigators linked David to a house near where his Tesla had been discovered. A Google Maps image from last year even showed a similar Tesla parked in front. While Teslas are common in Los Angeles, what stood out is that the cars are equipped with cameras on all sides, meaning federal agents may be able to recover footage that shows who is behind the wheel. There's also confusion around the timeline of David's car. Records show his Tesla was repossessed on September 8, 2024. He had reported it missing earlier, but investigators believe it sat unused for more than 30 days, well before he started his tour on August 5th. This raised another question. Why would someone report a Tesla missing when the company can track it directly through its system? For now, the pieces keep stacking up. Between the Discord leaks, suspicious live streams, and the mystery of the Tesla, authorities believe the digital trail could prove crucial in unraveling what really happened to Celeste. As federal investigators dug deeper into the case, an eerie Reddit post began circulating, one that appeared right around the time David's Tesla was discovered. At that point, no one knew who was inside the car. But the comment was chilling. "This guy's a weirdo." A close friend's little sister ran away last year, and this is who she was with. She was in 7th grade at the time. Police already swept his place in the hills. "I'm terrified that's who's in the car. Nobody has heard from her in months. She's from Lake Elsinore, but I won't release names." Soon after, a photo surfaced linking David to that same area. DJ Academics reported that TMZ had verified the image showed David near Lake Elsinore, the place where Celeste lived before she disappeared and was later found in the back of David's Tesla. The Reddit user who posted the picture claimed David had even been paying people to keep Celeste's real age a secret. David's own music hasn't helped his case either. One of his biggest hits, Romantic H*******, includes lyrics that sound disturbingly close to the situation. "In the back of my mind, you passed. In the back of my mind, I got you. And I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true." In a past interview, David tried to explain those words. It's like storytelling. "In the back of my mind, she died. Not physically, but in my mind. I didn't cry, not a single tear." What made people even more uneasy is that this track was released on September 7th, the same day as Celeste's birthday. Then came another leak, a full, unreleased song allegedly recorded in December 2023 called Celeste. In it, David sings, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." With every new revelation, the public's suspicions have only grown. As the case continues to unfold, David's entire tour has now been cancelled, except for a few remaining dates in Australia.